Today, I must say, I'm thrilled to have with us a very distinguished person. He is from the armed forces, my first featured speaker from the armed forces. So, retired Major General Rajan Kochhar. Let's listen to him. Over to you, sir.
Jai Hind to Yusuf and Jai Hind to all your viewers. It's a matter of honor and a privilege for me to be hosted on your show today. It's a great experience to share my thoughts and views with you. And I'm sure at the end of the conversation, we will be able to make a difference. Having served in the Indian Army for 37 years, uh, I've had 17 postings or transfers, you can say. And from the length and the breadth of the country, I have seen all the cultures, all religions, all castes, all kinds of people I've interacted with. It somewhat, broadens your horizon, your understanding, and your thinking of your own people. And
Sure.
now I'm into, after having done my PhD in management, I have ventured into the field of education. I like to be with the young students, trying to mentor them, trying to guide them, trying to facilitate their thinking and decision making, because I find that most of them are very confused today on various issues. And possibly, if they get impartial advice or unbiased advice from someone who is much more experienced and who has seen life from very close quarters, and I think it's a contribution we all veterans have to make to the society. It's giving back time now. We have lived our career, we have lived our life with a great deal of success, satisfaction, and happiness. And we want also the youth of our nation to live the life the way we have lived our lives and make a useful contribution to whatever their dreams are, whatever they want to accomplish in life, whatever they want to achieve in life. I think possibly if that is our mission, and if we can synergize this mission with your program, it will be very great.
Okay, we will discuss that offline, sir. We have many opportunities that we can work together, but let's listen to you first. Let's listen to your own thoughts and views on what you think the youth should be looking at, what they should be doing.
A very interesting question, Subhoji. Like it's today I come across, I go to colleges, universities, meet a lot of young boys and girls. Today, the youth, first of all, is looking at the nation, how the nation is chalking out its path in the world today. Because you see, if the nation is governed well, if the nation has a good leadership, then you will find there will be more opportunities for the youth also to take on professions of their choice. Because what is actually happening is that the education system, unfortunately, people may be having different views of the education system today, but today's education system is not bringing up the kind of skills we require for the youth of our country to build the nation strong. Today, people look in professions from the money point of view, because I have been a part of education institution after retired, and the focus of this institution is more on placements, more on getting people into a higher pay packet, and this actually publicize their achievement of their college or university based on the pay packet. So we have to slightly dig deeper into this and see that it is not only, yes, it is important that you earn a good salary, I don't say that, but it's also equally important that you follow your passions, because that is the most important. I feel the youth gets carried away by these things, monetary aspects. It is where in a place of work you actually enjoy the work you are doing.
Mm,
You feel a part of the process, and that is why I feel that taking the right decision in your profession, that what you want to do, you will be guided by your parents, by your teachers, by your friends, by your peers, and you by everybody. But ultimately, it is your decision. And I always say that you are not competing with others, you are competing with yourself. So, if you look at yourself, and if you look inwardly, and you feel from within that, okay, I must excel. Do not compare yourself with your friend. He may have got more marks than you, or he may be in a better job than you, because life's journey is very long, and you will encounter success, you will encounter failures, and I always say that a failure is a path to success,
mhm,
because today in the armed forces, like supposing I am going for an operation, we can talk of the Kargil war, we can talk about the line of control, we can talk about the line of action control. When we are going for war, to reach the enemy, we will find there'll be so many obstacles. There'll be a river, there'll be a nala, there'll be a mountain, there'll be a minefield which we'll have to cross. So, these are the challenges you will also face in life. You will have a minefield in front of you at times. You will have a river or a nala, kind of an obstacle with you. So have the resolve. Even if you fail once, uh, I always say that a failure is a feedback for success. So
okay.
whatever you actually learn from your failures, possibly that will make you even more stronger to achieve a success which you yourself have set for yourself, the goal which you have actually set for yourself. And in life, I would just sum it up by actually saying that make short-term goals, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year goals in your life. Focus yourself to achieve these goals. And once you do that, you can set another new goal for yourself. And slowly, slowly, in this journey of yours, it will be a long journey. It will be a journey in which there'll be ups and downs. There will be your experiences you will gain from each aspect of your journey, and you will be making relationships. It's very important to have friends than followers, because today, unfortunately, we look at Instagram, and we look at Facebook and the social media, and we say that I've got 50,000 followers. But how many of them are your friends?
Yeah.
How many of them are going to be with you when you require them? that is the most important essence of life, I feel. You must have friends. There can be few friends, but you must have those people with you whom you can trust, whom you can build a relationship, and whom you feel would be motivated to you in your journey, who would be like a catalyst to give you the impetus, whatever you want to do in life.
Well, thank you so much, General Saab. Let me say that I have, in the last few months, interviewed more than 300 young people, and many of them echo your thoughts. Many of them recognize that they have privilege, and they are saying, "Sir, tell us something what we can do our country. Tell us something we can do. How can I help?" And many of them have actually signed up with me, but I don't want to waste my time talking about that here, but just to say that they are actually doing things themselves with me or with themselves in the way that you are talking about it. And when I ask them to give tips to their juniors, so these are people who have finished their master's degree or they are in the third year of their BA, they give the same tips that you are giving. So at least there is a small sliver. Now, it's a biased sample for sure. There's not the average person. But in this biased sample, which is attracted to me for whatever reason, there's a huge number who talk just the way you are talking. So I find that very, very comforting that what you are saying is what they are actually also saying to their juniors that listen, now I am like this one, they all talk how their friends have helped them through difficult times. They all recognize that there is a rat race and you have to get placements and you have to get this and that. But they're looking for something more than that also. They keep saying, "Sir, we know we are privileged. We are this way privileged, that way privileged, but we know it's not enough." So it's actually quite, I must say, heartening to hear them. And many of them are actually doing things which uh, are innovative. Like there's one fellow who asked me, he's uh, second year Pilani, BITS Pilani. And he said to me that I've been taken 1 year off, it's approved by BITS Pilani. And somebody is paying me to think about what things we can do in the future. And he told me, "Sir, whatever you need invented to help farmers or anybody, just ask me. Me and my friends, we will do it." Okay. He says, my friend has built a cold storage which can bring the temperature down without electricity from 40 to 20 Celsius. So you could put apples or whatever if you want. I can get you a drone that can fly over 3 fields on the same charge. So there are people and they say, "Sir, ask. Just ask. We'll do it for you." So I would say that I fully agree with what you are saying. The educational system is unfortunately not meeting the needs of the country today. That is the truth. It is not doing enough for the young people, but many of the young people are going beyond the educational system and doing exactly what you're asking them to do. And we can discuss this more offline. But first, I want to hear from you about the armed forces. Tell us, because most of us don't have direct knowledge, and most of us don't have relatives and friends in it. So we want to hear from you, Kargil, whatever you want to talk about.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Subhoji. I joined the armed forces, or I can say that I joined the National Defense Academy when I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
So I was one of those few people who have not been to college. Straight from school, I joined the National Defense Academy at the age of 17, and I retired at the age of 58. So you can see my journey of 41 years in the armed forces. What brings you into a profession like the Indian Army or the Indian Air Force or the Indian Navy? There are actually few things which motivates you to join such professions. One is you look at some adventure in your life. You look at doing things directly for the nation. Uh, there is a national pride in you to do something for the country. The third is the glamour which this profession brings to you. The moment you wear olive green, you are a changed person. You get that kind of energy which possibly you won't get if you are wearing a trouser or a shirt. So it brings you into the fold of those people who are respected well in society. Today, the Indian Armed Forces is the only profession in the country which is known as the last bastion, where everything will fail. The armed forces is the one who will bail you out
Yeah,
because that is
true.
the last resort of a country.
Yeah.
So, uh, it should make you understand that you may not get all the comforts in life which you will get in a corporate sector. You may not get all the huge salaries or high standard of living, but you will get a very, very decent standard of living. You will have a good education, good moral values. You have a self discipline in you, and qualities of leadership will be built stronger in you. Let me remind you that we all are leaders in our own way. We all have leadership qualities. If you remember when you were in school and for the first time you were made a class monitor, that was your first step of leadership
True.
because uh, you were taking care of those 40 students in the class. The teacher and you were a link between the students and the management. So you have to understand that in the armed forces, these qualities are ingrained in you. And there are three words which I feel I normally tell everybody when they ask me for the armed forces: naam, namak, or nishan.
Mhm.
Uh, if you follow these three things, because I have actually followed this in my profession, Naam is the name of my unit. It is the name of my country. Namak is what my country has actually given me or what my regiment has given me.
Mhm.
And Nishan is the identity or the flag
Mhm.
or the symbol by which I recognize my nation, the Tiranga, or I recognize my regiment by its formation sign.
Mhm.
So, a feeling of being part of a larger family is what army actually gives you.
Mhm.
Today, in these 37 years, I may have stayed a couple of years away from my family, my wife, my children, but never would have felt that uh, I had to be worried about their welfare
Yeah.
because my extended family, the Indian Army, took care of each one of the members of my family. So that is one part. Second part is today technology is playing a very, very important role in shaping our lives. And these technologies are coming into the armed forces also. And we are adapting ourselves to the change environment. Today, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, blockchain, machine learning, robotics, data analytics, you can name all these technologies, and we find these have a place in the army. But remember one thing: a soldier need not be a soldier in a uniform. today, in whatever professions you are, you all are soldiers.
Mhm.
And I salute you for the work you are doing towards making our nation stronger. So, in case you are a scientist, or in case you are a technocrat, or in case you are a teacher, or a lecturer, or a professor, you are contributing in your own sphere of work like a soldier of the country in bringing the skills, technology, improving processes. And like you said, that many of your students said that you know what we can do to improve the agricultural the processes, what we can do, we can make drones, or in what way can we help our armed forces, or any other so medical issues are there, healthcare is there, in what way we can improve these things in life. So my message to the youth is that, you see, 70% of our entire land is in the rural areas. 30% are the urban areas. The population is the reverse of that. So what we are finding is that there is so much of wealth, there is so much of opportunity, there is so much of things to do in the rural areas, which unfortunately the youth are not exploring. So that is one message through your program I'd like to give, that try to venture into the rural areas, try to take on projects related to environment, because what is going to happen in the next century, you won't even actually dream that it would happen to you if you won't have any water, if electricity won't be there, if you fuels will not be there, petrol, diesel, all these kind of fuel. So we all have to develop alternatives to these systems. So these are the challenges. My life in the army, in a nutshell, I've had my postings in Jammu and Kashmir. I have my postings in the Northeast. When I was a second lieutenant, or that used to be the first rank in the army, now it's lieutenant, and I was 21 years of age. I was posted to Mizoram, where the insurgency was on. And Lal Denga, who later on became the chief minister of Mizoram, he was the most wanted man, and he was the insurgent leader. And my commanding officer told me, Rajan, uh, I'm sending you on a mission, and you have just joined the Paltan, and I was with 5 Gadwal rifles, an infantry unit, and he told me, uh, you here is your mission, and here are the men. You have so far not encountered any physical experience of getting into an operation, but this will be the first opportunity for you, and all my good wishes are there. Learn, uh, innovate, and accomplish. So these were his words, and off I went. Bharat Mata ki Jai. We gave our war cry, and we were out on this mission for almost a month. We were staying in jungles. We were hiding ourselves, and we used to get information about the militants, and we used to be trying to track them and eliminate them. And sure enough, after about 20 days, there was an encounter, and we were on a ridge. Ridge is like, two mountains.
Sure.
There's a valley, and there's a trail going past, and we're on that trail, and we were fired upon by the enemy. And then, we had to take our own sort of positions and shelters, and we lost one man in this. We lost one man in this attack, and we were able to neutralize two militants in this operation. So it was my first experience with real bullets flying all over. Because earlier
Yeah.
in the academy, it was, firing at a target and trying to hone our skills. But here was a lifelong life situation in front of you, and you don't know when the next bullet will hit you.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was nothing known as bulletproof patkas or bulletproof jackets and all, because I'm talking about the year 1981, and we didn't have any of these things with us. So it was the pluck, it was the courage, it was the camaraderie of the men who were there with me, who were educating me at every step. A Jawan was educating me. I was an officer, but I was being educated by a Jawan, a junior commissioned officer, a non-commissioned officer, all young people, but with loads of experience in them. And that is how, when we progress in life, we should not see that he is my junior. Why should I not take advice from him? Anybody who is more experienced than you, anybody who can add value to what you want to take a decision, you must go to that person. You don't have to feel shy. Throughout my life, this was the biggest education for me, that if I did not know anything about a certain subject or a certain process, I never hesitated to go to my Jawan or Havaldar who was more proficient than me on that subject.
Right.
So that is how you learn in life. And uh, all these islands of experiences, what you gather with you, will make you a better individual, a better human being. And in the forces, your men look up to you. You can lead them into battle, you can lead them into death, you can lead them into victory, you can lead them into a failure. So they have explicit trust in your leadership qualities, and they have faith that whatever you decide will be in the best interest of that company, platoon, regiment,
Yeah.
and the nation.
Right.
So this is the message, the camaraderie, the bonding, which we actually develop with each other. And this is the essence of our working together in adversity, in very tough conditions, minus 30 degrees temperature, 18,000 feet altitude. We are there with each other, and there is no discrimination of caste, color, or creed. So my message to all of you is, all this what we talk in the social media about a particular religion, about a particular caste, about a particular creed, remember, we are all first Indians. All this caste, color, creed has no significance in our life, but the politicians are making it out for their own agendas. And let us not get carried away by these agendas, because if you want to be a success, you can be a Hindu, you can be a Muslim. My buddy, 14 years, I had a buddy in the army. A buddy is a person, a Jawan, who looks after your administrative needs, your uniform, your polishing of your shoes, your making a cup of tea for you, and things like that. He was a Muslim. Now, 14 years, I had this man with me, right from a major to a colonel. He was with me.
Right.
I never thought of his religion.
Yeah.
But that, I think that's the best message I can give to your viewers on your program.
Okay, let's jump ahead to Kargil. You talked about 1981. I want to hear from you what, because by that time you must have been a fairly senior officer. It's 1998, so uh, you were no longer a young person, you were in some authority. What was the mood like? What was the feeling like? Can you just tell us? You may not have been on the front, but still, what was the mood? How did it go?
1999, I was posted in a infantry unit as the AQMG. It's a staff appointment which deals with the logistics of that fighting formation to ensure that the troops have all their food, rations, ammunition, equipment, every thing is available to them in a serviceable condition and available to them wherever they are deployed. So we got a message that we have to be ready and prepared. I was posted in Meerut that time, and we had orders to mobilize. And we were quite surprised because certain news reports were coming in from Kargil and from the adjoining areas that certain important features have been occupied by non-military persons. Like Pakistanis have not come inside, but possibly in the garb of the Pakistanis, these terrorists have actually occupied all these important features and they were dominating into the valley.
Mhm.
And they could be, and in case they're not removed from there, it would be difficult to move all our reinforcements and our forces on to that area. So we were tasked. I was a part, as I told you, of infantry division. We were on standby to move to Kargil at a short notice, and we had moved outside of our barracks, 40 kilometers away, to a camping area, and so we had actually deployed ourselves, and we started practicing our battle drills because when you have to go for war, you have to transit from a peace mindset to a war mindset. And for that, you have to get into your camouflages and you have to start practicing those drills. And for me, as the AQMG of that formation, it was my responsibility to ensure that all the vehicles were available for mobilization, all the equipment was in a fitness state, ammunition was available, rations were available, and everything. So it was quite a task because in those days there were a large amount of deficiencies with us. We were short of ammunition, we were short of certain important equipment, and how to make this equipment in a matter of days was a nightmare for us. And I can tell you, I used to barely sleep about 2 to 3 hours in a day because we just didn't have time. The balloon actually could have actually gone up any day. There was a scenario also being painted that we might go to war with Pakistan if things don't stabilize. So we have to be ready. So that was my state of mind. At the same time, these formations which were already there in the valley, many more specialized units were moved into the valley to reinforce these units because of more strength was required. Because in mountains, we all must remember that we need to have a superiority of 1:6. That means if there is one company strength of the people on the hill, we have to have six company strengths to dislodge them. And one company is almost 100 troops. So you can imagine that we have to have a battalion plus
Yeah.
to dislodge a company strength on a mountain. So more forces were required. Then we realized that we would need guns, artillery guns. So here I must compliment the role of the Bofors gun. Uh, it is a it is not an unknown fact. Actually, Bofors was a great contributor for winning the Kargil war. Whatever controversy Bofors would have actually gone into is a separate issue. All the kickbacks and all, we were actually hearing a number of years back. But there was no equivalent of this weapon system anywhere in the world. And we realized that we were short of ammunition, and government did frantic efforts to get this ammunition overnight uh, uh, from Sweden and other countries. And we were able to make up our ammunition in about 10 to 15 days of time. And this gun actually facilitated the movement of the infantry on the top of the hill. And then we had the Tololing battle, the Tiger Hill battle, and Point 5074, and all these battles are actually etched into history. Captain Vikram Batra, Anuj Nair, and all these heroes of ours, whom we actually read about, are a source of inspiration for the young officers today, that in spite of all the odds, in spite of people saying that how will you climb a mountain which is 16,000 feet at a gradient of 80 degrees and in the face of the enemy. So it showed the resolve, it showed the mindset, and it showed the psychological edge a army man has over his adversary. Because an adversary would never expect you to come from an area like this. He would expect you to come from an area which was more easier to climb.
Yeah.
But our men preferred to move from these steep inclines, facing casualties. We lost almost 1,600 men in this operation, in this entire Kargil war, which stretched over close to 2 months. But at the end of the day, our Tiranga was on that hilltop, and we had almost killed 3,500 of these Pakistanis who were dressed like militants but were actually soldiers of the Pakistan Light Infantry.
Okay.
It was regular army. It was a regular army which came and sat inside our country, and it was a major, major intelligence failure. And we were not able to come to know until we realized that they're already there for months. They were there for months. So you can imagine that what kind of intelligence failure we had. Lessons learned. There was a Subramaniam committee which went into it, and all those reforms which we are seeing, a defense intelligence agency was created, an NTRO was created, and various changes in technology where intelligence and satellites were actually made use of in a later time frame to ensure that we don't have a repeat of this kind of a failure.
Right.
So these are the lessons which I think which actually emerged out of the Kargil conflict.
And then when it was over, what was the mood in the army?
No. I beg your pardon, I didn't get that.
when that Tiranga was there, what was the mood in the army at that time?
You can't actually imagine the feeling of pride, the feeling of happiness, and the feeling of jubilation which each soldier was feeling at that point of time. It's a feeling which I don't think it, can be described on a program. It is
Yeah.
something which was within that kind of a fervor was there in the unit. You actually felt 10 feet tall.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and you can imagine
Hmm.
what feelings the countrymen would be having at that point of time.
Okay.
So they were on the streets, they were on the roads, celebrating and rejoicing the victory of the Indian Army.
Okay. Wonderful. All right, sir. We have had about 30 minutes. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm saying please continue. Add something more that you want to add.
Uh, uh, First of all, it's been a wonderful 30 minutes, and uh, my last message to all the young men who actually are part of your viewership, whom you are in touch with, and I'm sure your show is going to expand to a much larger viewership. Please be careful of the social media.
Okay.
My actually message to each one of you: do not think whatever comes in the WhatsApp is the truth or is a fact, because
Sure.
80% of information on WhatsApp is fake. So please don't get carried away by emotions, by your sentiments, by what you see, all these videos and all these which are coming. And now the latest is artificial intelligence, where even you can replicate my interview and you can distort it.
Yes.
So that is the power of technology. I would I would just like to say this much, that please be very very careful on social media. Do not we have a tendency to forward messages without realizing what we are actually forwarding, and it actually creates a sort of a viral atmosphere all around. So let's be slightly more responsible and careful on the social media. That is my message, and thanks a lot, Subhoji. It
Yeah, thank you,
was
sir. Thank you for this. Let's say goodbye to the viewers, and you and I can talk some offline because I think in the recording it's yours, not mine. So let's say bye to the viewers and hope to have you back in 6 months to see what else you can tell us at that time, and hope to see you then. Okay, so bye, everybody.
bye
I'll be
bye.
back with another
Thank you.
expert or young person soon.